What's up, guys? This is Brave, and I am back with another review of Tyler Perry's Sistas. This is season 5, episode 14, and the episode is titled Fair Game. Let's jump right on in because Karen is like, why am I here? Why did you invite me over to your house, Zachary? And Zach is basically telling her that, he wants to talk about the baby. He's talked about it, with Fatima, and he came up with the idea that he would pay her $3,000 a month for child support. Okay, we're starting somewhere. Of course, Karen's nose is already in the air. She's like, because I see you got this big house and you got 2 new cars in the driveway, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, girl, $3,000, that's actually a nice amount considering you'll have a newborn baby and you work as well. I think that's okay. I think you can survive. But this is where it flips because Karen, she basically tells this man that, I don't even need you. I don't need your money because I've always had money. You ain't got to worry about it. This baby will be taken care of by me and Aaron because he don't mind and he not the daddy. Now, this is when Zach has to chime in and be like, oh, wait, I'm going to be involved in my child's life. But she's like, what, the baby going to have 2 daddies? I'm like, girl, I need Karen to chill out, okay? Karen, bring your energy down because honestly at this point, yes, is Zach doing this so that he can pay less in child support? Yes, but at least he's trying to meet you halfway because previously he did not care about you at all because you were wreaking havoc in his life on a daily basis. But here we go. So at one point, she's going on and on about how, this house pisses her off. The desk piss her off because Zach built a desk like that one for her before. And when she goes over there to talk about how they have pictures on the wall of them, she happens to see the ring. I'm trying to figure out why would you even take the ring off or leave it on the desk? Like, that was really stupid, Fatima. But anyways, so now she's like, oh, so you guys are engaged or whatever. And she's like, I wish y'all the best or something like that. And Fatima's like, no, you don't. You don't wish me the best because you've been shady this entire time. Which she has. Again, you guys, Karen still owes Fatima an apology for when she lied and said that she told Aaron that she was in the hospital. She has never apologized for that. I'm still waiting on that. And I'm going to continue to bring it up every time until she actually does it. So she's just going on and on, though. Karen was. And I'm just like, Karen, you got to relax. You really got to chill out because you're going to give yourself high blood pressure while you're pregnant. And the thing that really stood out to me within this conversation, though, with Karen, Fatima, and Zach, number one, Andy was there for nothing because she added nothing to the conversation. And also the fact that even though Fatima tried to, be there to be supportive of her man and all that stuff, I feel like it's going to be a long time before Karen can acknowledge that Fatima has been quite nice to her when she really did not have to. And also for her to acknowledge that, Fatima, she's trying her best in this messy situation because she really is. Now, after the girls leave because they have to go check on Sabrina or whatever, we actually get a very deep little moment we got between Fatima and Zach because Zach is trying to tell her, like, no, I know I built that desk for her just like I did for you, but it was different or whatever. And, she's just basically telling him that, she's still going to stick beside him. That was the premise of her standpoint. And he's like, but I keep putting you through all this and I'm not trying to put you through all this. And she lets him know that, she can tolerate a lot. She can take a lot. She can take a lot of hits. But because of who he is and how he treats her, she is willing to, go through all this because she really wants to be with Zach. And I will say it was a quite emotional scene. I actually enjoyed the conversation that they had because honestly, if this was happening to anybody in the real world, they would have left Zach already. There's no way you gonna bring your stripper baby mama around, and at the same time I gotta deal with your other baby mama. They coming at me all at the same time with their nasty attitudes. Like, no, I can do better. I can do way better. But when it comes to Fatima and Zach, I honestly feel like at this point, Tyler stopped making it rain on him. Because as you guys already know, I've talked about Tyler's writing previously in many of my videos. When it rains, it pours in Tyler Perry's world. Like, honestly, I wish that we did not have all of the child support stuff happening all at the same time. Like, he literally overnight became a father of two in Tyler Perry's world. And I'm just like, can we space some of this stuff out, Tyler? Please. I just can't stand the whole when it rains and pours when it comes to his writing. One other thing I wanted to point out before I'm done talking about this segment is that I did appreciate seeing them express how they felt. Also, we got real tears from the actors, DeVal and Crystal. And I appreciated that because if you guys ever noticed, when it comes to TV and films, usually there are no real tears. People are whining, people are scrunching their faces up, and usually we don't see no tears. So I appreciated the scene. But let me know what y'all thought about the scene, honestly. Now, so go ahead and move forward. As you guys already know, when it comes to Tyler, we go pure goofiness after we were just being serious. So now we have Calvin and Maurice on the phone, and Maurice is checking in to be like, yo, what's going on with Sabrina? Have you talked to her? And Calvin is like, yeah, I talked to her or whatever. We're all going to try to help get you out. And I'm like, when? Who is all? Who's all helping? Because it's looking like Sabrina's out and ain't nobody checking for Maurice to get out. So Maurice is like, okay, well, I need a lawyer. And he's like, okay, well, we can talk to Andy about that. He's like, no, but I need my own lawyer that's not Andy. So Calvin is like, yeah, well, we're going to get you a lawyer. All these promises that he's giving Maurice. I'm like, oh, now you're promising all this stuff? I'm sorry. I give a huge side eye to Calvin because Calvin has now made himself the middleman between all of this. Like, dude, you couldn't even be a good friend to Maurice. You haven't been a good friend to Maurice in a while, especially once you threw it up in his face how he already knew how Q was. But circling back to why I feel this way, literally, you couldn't even throw Q out the house. You could not throw him out the house. It took you all the way till Sabrina came over to beat him up, because that was after she hit him a couple of times. That's when you decided to hit him, even though he sold stuff out of your bedroom. He stole it and sold it. Crazy. Then on top of that, when you even found out about it, you told Daddy you had $20,000 to get Sabrina out of jail. Well, how much money did you put away for Maurice to get out of jail? Yeah, okay. So now you want to make yourself the middleman between Maurice talking to Sabrina to then talk to Andy. Bye, Calvin. I'm sorry, I just do not see it for Calvin, y'all. Now, let's go ahead and move along. So, we actually got a scene of Karen calling Pam. She wants to check in, see how she's doing at the salon. And, of course, Pam says she's doing all right, okay? She don't need Karen checking on her every chance she get. Let's go ahead and move on because then we actually see that Aaron walks out because Karen had pulled up on him at the basketball court. And the whole point of this was for her to let him know that, she had just had a conversation with Zach and Fatima, and that was, a little stressful for her. And for him to meet back at her place later on tonight, he's going to bring some ice cream in his hands. All right, cool. So now let's go ahead and talk about this scene because Gary is standing at the elevator. And he's waiting for somebody to come up, assuming that it's Andy, talking about he's been waiting on her all day. Why was it Danny? I fell out laughing because I'm like, how long have you been standing there without clothes on waiting for Andy, sir? It screams desperate. So, of course, he leaves out the room and Danny goes to fix herself a drink. Now, while she's doing that, Sabrina comes up the elevator and I'm just like, who's working the front desk? I guess they just told the front desk, if you see any of these three ladies, just go ahead and let them up. So Sabrina gets there and Danny is telling her like, oh, guess who I walked into? She has to let her know that she ran into Gary, him being naked, all of that. And she's like, well, I don't like him being here or whatever. And of course, Danny does her funny thing where she's like, oh, well, Gary's here. He has the big D. He has money. He has all the things. And Sabrina is like, girl, are we going to forget that he squeezed Andy? No, we didn't forget about that, but Andy sure did, because that's when Danny decides to mention, well, you have the nice car and you have the penthouse now. Yeah, Andy has sold her soul for a penthouse and a car. That's pretty much what has happened. Now, here's the thing. He comes out the room, he has on clothes now, and he tells them that he heard what they were talking about and, he never did that again. Now, here's the thing, Tyler. I know this is a fancy penthouse, and there's a bunch of space through it, but we're not about to act like he can hear their full conversation with that door closed way across the room like that, because they were not talking loud at all. So he wants to head out, but Danny has more questions, like, are y'all back together? He's like, no, we're just seeing each other or whatever. And again, he's trying to head out the door because he know he gonna be in the hot seat talking to these two. Sabrina, she chimed in and said something, I can't recall what it was, but I do remember him going on about how he's never loved anyone the way he's loved Andy. Oh, I think they were talking about if he's still stalking her. And he said, nah, he ain't stalking her no more. Yeah, okay. So then we start talking about how, he basically bought her the penthouse and the car because he wants to show how, he has improved and all this stuff. And Sabrina's like, no, you should just do the right thing. And he's like, well, I bought these things. And she's like, no, that's materialistic. What do you think is the actual right thing to do here? And I was like, come through, Sabrina. See, this is the Sabrina that I appreciate. Because let's not play as if Tyler tried to make her a little too ditzy at one point. This is the Sabrina that I like. Now, did that man answer the question? He did not. But, of course, he went on to talk about how they love each other or whatever. So he finally heads on out the door. Sabrina is like, I don't like him being here. And then Danny actually wants to talk about Calvin, okay? You already know. Since we have met Calvin, Danny has not been a fan of him. She's called him the panty man, made all types of jokes about him. But now she finally has something positive to say. And that is that, Calvin was really trying to hold it down for Sabrina, which he did because he had money for her to get out on bail, but not Maurice. Just throwing that out there. And, she tells Danny, so Sabrina's telling Danny how Bio came over, Calvin was cool with it, it was fine. And I laughed when Danny was like, yeah, that's because he didn't want to get that work again. I laughed because I'm never going to forget how Calvin just continues to lose fight after fight on this show. Because he definitely got whooped up by Bio. Now, was I the only one who was upset that Sabrina did not say Q's name when she said the person who put us through all this was at Maurice's apartment? I'm like, why didn't she just say Q at this point? Because you know the man's name. Like, usually, if you already know somebody's name, you don't keep referring to them as the person. You would just say, so Q, the guy who Maurice was messing with, who set us up, that's who did blah, 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 and this is what happened. Like, that was kind of weird, but I think Tyler's going to drag this out when it comes to Danny finding out who Q actually is. So Andy finally comes home. She's trying to give the girls the rundown about what happened between Zach, Fatima, and Karen. She did not get far with that conversation at all. I'm just like, wait a second. You mean to tell me that Karen had time to stop, talk to Aaron, make a call to Pam, and she only came up like 30 seconds after you? What kind of driving was you doing, Andy? So Karen comes in and is like, listen, you ain't got to pretend like you weren't telling the girls what happened. So her first question is, did you know that they were engaged? And here goes dumbfounded Andy. She got to be honest at this point. Like, girl, yeah, you knew. So when she admits this, of course, this hurts Karen because she's like, what kind of friend are you? You know what I mean? You let me basically go in there blindsided. And I'm just like, not really, Karen, because you weren't supposed to see the ring, number one. Number two, Andy is right. It's not really her place to tell you that they're engaged. And also, she just found out today. Like, I wish that Andy would have finished that sentence with, I just found out today that they were engaged. You know what I'm saying? Now, one thing that I do want to point out is that Andy actually held Karen quite accountable when it comes to this conversation, especially once they brought up the child support and how he offered her $3,000 a month and how Karen was like, well, I'm not going to take it because with his income, we need to be getting more than that. First of all, what income does Zach have? He has not sold another property. He has not flipped another property. Like, last time I checked, I thought he was going to start taking his money out of that stock and diversifying it. He ain't got no job. So, what's the income besides the rent that he's collecting from the next door neighbor? I'm just trying to figure this out. Yes, he came into money, but it's not a solid monthly income. Also, when it comes to this whole child support thing, like Andy said, you said you didn't want that. Remember? You went on your whole little rant about how Aaron is about to play daddy to your child that's not his. Recall any of that, Karen? Now, y'all, are we trying to make fetch a thing when it comes to these letters? Because every time she tries to explain how these letters have given her this clear mind and all this stuff, I'm not buying it. Because you wouldn't have acted like that if your mind was clear on the whole Zach situation. You wouldn't have been so upset about them being engaged or bringing up a stupid desk being built. But you know what? I don't want to harp on that for too long. Now we're going to talk about Andy and Gary. So, of course, Danny has to let Andy know she saw her man naked yet again, number one. And also, here goes Karen, like, why was he up here? Like, does he have a key like everybody else around here? And Andy basically confirmed, yeah, he has a key just like you three have a key. And on that note, baby girl skedaddled to her room so that she can call Gary and basically try to figure out a schedule of when he could come back to her house because she tried to get rid of the girls. I said, you know what, Andy? You are such a terrible friend. Like, I feel like these girls have been here for less than 15 minutes and you are so ready for them to go so that he can come back. I can't. So when Andy comes back, the girls want to talk about her and Gary, honestly, but she flips it on him so that we can talk about Sabrina. Sabrina tells her that, the prosecutor basically has it out for her because he's trying to get Maurice to flip on her. And then Danny has to correct her and be like, oh no, the prosecutor doesn't have it out for you. He actually has it out for Andy. And you're just a casualty at war at this point. Now, of course, you have Sabrina who wants to get Maurice out of jail. So she's asking Andy, like, can you help him the same way you helped me? She's like, girl, I already asked for enough favors. Now, I will say this. She has definitely asked for enough favors. I don't know how Andy would be able to pull that off. Because not only did you have to put up how much ever y'all had to put up for Sabrina to get out of jail, but now you're asking for Maurice. It's a lot. But she says that she's going to try. We'll see how hard Andy actually tries. Now let's go ahead and get to Danny. Danny is drinking a lot, and I feel like it's for multiple reasons. Number one, she's still not over what happened with Jonah. And she's also drinking because she doesn't want to go home to Preston and for him to propose to her. So she ends up telling the ladies about how, she found the ring and how, he had a previous girlfriend. He said he was going to propose to her if she didn't say anything. She's really giving them like the rundown of what's going on with her. So now everyone is drinking except for Karen. That wraps up that scene. And let's go ahead and move on because we are back with Zach and Fatima. And Fatima is ready for him to open up the envelope that Hayden gave him. Remember, because he served him his papers. So, of course, Zach does not want to open it, so Fatima does. She looks at it, she closes it back up, forces him to, actually want to know what the numbers are. So he opens it up. Y'all, why is he being sued for back child support of $500,000? I'm like, all right, Tyler, just go ahead and take all of Zach's monies at this point and let him go back to being broke Zach. Because I'm over it at this point. But let's go ahead and move on. So Danny goes home and, Preston is there because he ain't got nothing else to do but wait up at her house. And he, gets off the phone or whatever. She actually confronted him about the ring. She's like, oh, were you just talking to your ex or whatever? He's like, actually, yeah. And I'm like, why were you talking to her? Number one. And Danny's like, well, are you going to go propose to her? Because, I saw the ring. He's like, what ring? What are you talking about? She's like, dude, I saw the ring. So basically he tells her, no, that actually was a ring for you. Next thing you know, he gets on one knee. And that is where the episode leaves off. And I'm just so upset. Because I feel like Preston and Danny deserve more than a rushed engagement. First things first, can they actually get in a relationship? Because they were never official, ever. Throughout this entire time that we have been watching this show, those two have never been official. So how are you going to have them be engaged or possibly engaged when they can't even date each other? I don't even think they've ever had a date because they're always laid up in her bedroom. I'm sorry, but I just feel like her character deserves so much more. Also, literally, what was that, 3 episodes ago? She just got into it with Jonah. Are we tripping, Tyler? Yes, you are. Can we deal with that trauma first? Can she go see a therapist? Can we get that on the books? Oh no, I'm sorry. We just have to rush everything. Tyler, you gotta do better. You really do. Let me know what y'all thought about this episode. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I will talk to y'all in the next one. Bye, guys.